Do signatures have a purpose anymore? The Collins English Dictionary states that a signature is a noun, the name of a person or a mark or sign representing his name marked by himself or by an authorised deputy, the act of signing one's name, a distinctive mark, characteristic that identifies a person or a thing. As a modifier, it's a signature fragrance. When it comes to music, it's a key signature or time signature. In the US, it's the part of a medical prescription that instructs a patient how frequently and in what amounts he should take a drug or agent. And in printing, it's a sheet of paper printed with several pages that upon folding will become a section or sections of a book. Since starting this process, we've been looking at letters that were sent to and from the front line, and each letter is signed with that person's signature. But at this time, do signatures actually have a purpose, and are they even that distinctive anymore? My signature changes every single time I sign it, and it's meant to be a distinctive mark that identifies you, yet mine doesn't. Does yours? The chairman of the British Institute of Graphologists looked at the signatures of David Cameron, Ed Miliband and Nick Clegg. He did this to see if he could find out anything about their personalities through their signatures.
What can you tell us about the signature?
Well, I know it looks like a child's doodle.
It does.
But actually it has a lot of meaning. The trouble with looking at signatures only is they are the public image. And when you're looking at a personality through the handwriting, you do need to see the writing, not just the signature. Now, a man's signature usually settles down by the time he's about 18 or 19, so his actual writing may be totally different. However, it does tell you something. If you look at the way that those loops are formed, they're known as arcades, and that's a bridge-type structure. And arcades means that here's somebody who wants to hide their motive.
Oh.
So it's quite a secretive writing.
That'd be good for the Treasury Secretary.
Yes.
OK. Well, look, let's have a very brief look at some of the other signatures. I think we can see David Cameron, the Prime Minister. Nice. What do you think of that signature? What does that say to you?
That is talking... If you look at the D versus the C, when you have capitals, and again, it's not his actual writing, look at the power of that D against the C. Here is somebody who's going to make a personal impact, OK? Yet it's very small writing. Now, small writing is about focus. Right slant writing is about emotional responsiveness. Small writing like that in the middle zone is actually a sign of consideration. OK, now, we don't know what his actual...
You could read so much into somebody's signature. I hope you'll all be practising yours after this. Well, let's have a look. I think it's Ed Miliband we've got next, the Labour leader. There's short.
Now, that is more of a sort of everybody knows who I am, because it's illegible. So I don't have to explain
Is that
myself.
how you would describe him, Pat McFadden?
Absolutely not.
No.
I think the interesting thing is that there's an angle at the top of that second stroke. Do you see that? Now, in the upper zone, and I don't want to get too complicated, but that means somebody's got quite strong ideas. The other thing is that he has a paraph underneath the signature, so he has an element of self-confidence, I'm going to make it. But that is a very interesting signature.
Oh, right. I would be pleased to know that. Very briefly, Nick Clegg, let's have a look at his signature. What's that screaming out to you?
You see how disconnected it is. So here is somebody, again, who wants to make an impact from a public point of view, but it's very disconnected. And when you have disconnected writing, it's people who are quite intuitive. Now, the problem with this is just a signature. One cannot read too much into it. But writing is about frozen body language, and that's telling
President
something
Obama
about Nick
announced
Clegg.
the nomination of his White House Chief of Staff, Jack Lew, for Treasury Secretary. But Lew's bizarre signature, as you saw there, is what's really making some headlines. Take a look at this. It's sort of like a telephone cord or a bunch of curly fries. And guess what? If he gets that job, well, those squiggles will be on all of our bills.
Yeah, here's a sample of what a new dollar bill will look like with Lew's signature in the bottom right corner there, which made all of us kind of start to think, what does your handwriting reveal and what is in a signature?
Signatures used to be a form of identification, but now they somehow seem redundant. You have IDs, passports and bank cards with signatures on, but how far can you get away with signing for something with a signature that looks completely different? You could quite easily sign for a parcel by drawing a picture or a smiley face, and you would still receive the parcel. I remember at school one day a friend was meant to leave for school for an hour early or so to get to the dentist. She had a signed letter from her mum saying she would pick her up at a certain time. However, The secretary had seen this note and had compared it to a form that her mum had also signed. The signatures were different, and my friend was sent to detention over break. Funnily enough, her mum had arrived to take her to the dentist. Her mum had signed the note when rushing round in the morning, and therefore made a few alterations to her signature by accident. So what's the point in having a signature? They're easily forged, easily altered, and they're even changed by the machines that the postman carries around with him. There have been many debates over the significance of a signature, and there has recently been an article on the BBC website whether technology will remove the need for a signature at all. I suppose signatures meant more when receiving a letter from a loved one during the war. Their name at the bottom of a postcard or letter would have been a source of great comfort, knowing they were alive. Has the use of email, texts, Twitter, Facebook, social media, have they overridden the need to write a letter to someone and to sign your name at the bottom? So do you think signatures still have a purpose?